Okay, so I bought this Akai Professional MPK Mini, which it's going to be hard because of things you don't use to get to leap away. Akai Professional Mini! It was about to have a different keyboard, of a different type, because this is a different keyboard, but it has these cool pads which you can program to do things, and you know, you're supposed to be able to program them to do things. You can, but it comes with MPC Beats, which is the software you're using to do this. The problem is that pads won't make any sounds unless you've got the software open. And, you know, whilst I could program it so that if I click on that, for example, it will do something, there's this thing which is no repeats, which I've clicked. And when you put no repeats on, I mean, we can still play the keyboard, but the pads do not repeat the notes. Turned off, it's fine. Okay, so that's one thing, you know, the looping part that I wanted it to do will not do anything. The other part of the problem with this is I click records, right? So you have to then click play to actually record, and then we'll start playing the instant note. That's it. Which it doesn't start recording. It's like gives you a bit of a delay, so you can't just start making the notes you want. But then everything is a loop. Also, the annoying metronome activates every single time, even though you turn it off every single time. Every single time you're legit over anything you want to do. And that'll ruin any sort of performance as well. And so, you know, if we go back to the beginning again, I couldn't find any sort of way to make the track any longer than 8 seconds. So, if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But of course we lose like 3 or 4 seconds at the beginning as well. Now it doesn't record the microphone. Under that setting, and again, you know, whilst I wanted to create loops, there's no way to change the length of time of the loop. It's like a 4-5 second loop. And if we go to the looper, of course, we've got the both play and less virtually. Some reverse. Some reverse. Some reverse. Some reverse. There's no way to stop it reversing. Okay, now it should play normally. Because it was on record. It was on record, it was reversing. What it was on record, it was reversing. Oh yeah, we're on overwrite. Wait, that's replaced. This is overwrite, so we can. This is overwrite, so we can. This is overwrite, so we can do it up. This is overwrite, so we can do it up. This is overwrite, so we can do it up. This is overwrite, so we can do it up. This is overwrite, so we can do it up. This is overwrite, so we can reverse this. This is overwrite, so we can reverse this. This is now going to be so we can do it up. This is overwrite, so we can do it up. This is overwrite. But yeah, I mean, it's like you're limited to 4 seconds loop, and you know, unless we actually specifically replace it to silence. This is overwrite. This is overwrite. It wouldn't let me delete it unless I specifically overwrite it with silence, which is also an annoying thing. And you know, you can only have this one loop, but obviously that's the microphone loop, and then we can do different things. But the different effects also just aren't working, you know, like for the distortions and the effects like that. So, whilst it was £80 from 90, it just won't let me play a song, you know. Like, if I was trying to play a song on the notes, because to have the notes actually playing, I have to actually be recording. Oh yeah, and also we're now set on drums, changed me to drums, so you can't have multiple instruments. So, you know, if we set that, that's just like bit of a thing. You know, we can layer it up, but you can't have multiple things like where a song would be, where it would be like, this is bit A, which I'd like to record and assign to like pad 1 for a loop, and then this is bit B, which is assigned to like second bit, and then you could dynamically do that on the fly whilst also playing some sort of tune. So, you know, because then over the top of the repeating bits, I'd like to be able to play the tune like it'll just be like, you know, if we continue the next bit, that'll just be like, extends up like, this is what you'll hear, because it'll just be like a mess of overlapping nonsense, and overlapping nonsense, and overlapping nonsense. Which is not what we want. You know, and whilst it does record anything on the same button press, it doesn't replace the other button presses. So, you know, I can replace something that's been held to a tiny bit of that note, but I can't stop it playing all the notes. And it just becomes highly cursed. You know? So, and there's no way to make longer tracks. Like, you know, I'd like to have the looping bit for some uses. I'd like to be able to assign to the pads, which I thought I would be able to do. The note repeat button just doesn't work, so you can't even use it on the fly. It just does nonsense. It's just disappointing, because the note repeat you'd think would allow you to do click note repeat, click on the pads, and then it'll just be like doing whatever you assign to that pad to repeat, and then you could just play the keyboards or whatever instrument you got, because that's like not exactly what we want. Just on the fly, you know. And then there are different templates. So we've got a house template, but again, you know, if we exited back out to a new project without saving that, you know, we've got different things like that was the house one. There's songwriter, there's hip hop, there's R&B, there's trap, there's keyboards, there's pop, there's all sorts of things. So let's do a different songwriter, and if you don't load the project, it'll just be empty, and then none of the pads will do anything. But you know, if you're programming them to do the different things, and the keyboard won't do anything, and etc, bust. You know, if you program them to do the things you want, which is, you know, the more advanced way of doing it, that's fine. It's just, I want to be able to control the length of my loop to make them the length that I want, so I could have, because, you know, a lot of music, the dynamic loop is longer than the limited amount of time you got here. So, you know, even if I programmed a pad to do this thing, these drums do not work on the drum pads, they work on these two keys on the left and the keyboard, and that's it. There's a different instrument, so you know, there's a few different instruments. These are very, very quiet synths, so you know, again, it's not great when it's so super quiet. I'd love to just have every instrument available, like, in one thing, you know, because this is just like unused, and then there's like hardly any instruments, and most of those were not great. So, you know, I'd love, and that's in the songwriter thing. You'd think that would have the most. Like, let's go pop and let's have a look in pop. But I'm entirely disappointed with how it is. This is a drum kit, apparently. Also, it's playing itself. It's not even on record or loop, and it's playing itself. Okay, it's finished now. It's synth bass. Again, the pads don't do anything on that one. But again, you know, if you change instruments between things, your pads will get deleted. So it's a bit. Again, nothing on the pads, but only things on the keyboards. It's a bit disappointing, especially as the note repeat doesn't... Wait, I had note repeats on. That's why half of that was not working right. Okay, so... with the note repeats on, the drums don't work, but the keyboard does. But the keyboard works on both with that anyway. So. But again, if we wanted to do that as a loop, and the looper itself only records your voice looper, it doesn't record... But again, the whole thing's just a looper anyway. Okay, that's got some things on the pads actually when we don't have note repeat, because note repeat isn't note repeat, it's just some weird extra note, extra mode for the settings that changes your instrument again. And there's a lot of different varieties of that as well, you know, with the programs, so, you know. Not all of them have different ones, but this one does seem to. So we can make it an electric plump, buck, or, you know, the tube synth. But, you know, it's just highly disappointing. And then with note repeat, again, it just changes things up a bit. What's program 001? Interesting. It's nothing. I'm just very disappointed that you can't actually make a proper tune and then play it on the fly. You know, it's just make 4-second loops, and it's a mess. You know, it's not good. So, you know, I'm going to get a refund. I'm highly disappointed in it, but, you know, if you want to check it out for yourself, maybe do so. I was planning on bringing it to streams and having some fun with it and playing some tunes, but can't play any tunes if it's just, you know, limited loops, and it's very, very limited. It is very... This is on the advanced mode, also. It's very limited. You're stuck to 4 seconds of loop and one single loop. You can't have multiple options of loops and, you know, and play it separately. That's the highly disappointing part. So yeah, I would not recommend. Thanks for watching Against More, and I'll find something else to. Goodbye.